Hi, David. This is your dad. Just wanted to let you know your mom's doing good. Everything is the same. She fell asleep this afternoon for 3 hours. Maybe it was because of the weather, but it's good. She's doing good, and everything is good. Everything's the same. After the insurance lets us know, then we'll start therapy. But since today's Sunday, they weren't open. So when they let us know, I will give you a call.
Okay, Dad.
And please give my love to the whole family, okay?
Oh,
love
okay.
you. Bye-bye.
I love you, Dad. All right, that was the voices of Harold. I don't know who she was, but she did her best to interpret for my dad. And now, let's go for a drive. Come on, Hal. Bring us onto the road. The New York State Thruway, northbound. On my way to work. Let's do it.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoke so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the brooding kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, I'm gone for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
All right, hello, everybody. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. Thank you, Alex Exum from alexexum.com, who does live talk every Tuesday. I've been talking about that for years. Are you ready to dumb it down? I had a feeling. So let's do it. We got to get to a lot of things today. I do the show with a heavy heart, and basically, I'm pretty sure I'm going to call it Another Friend Bites the Dust. Yes, another friend bites the dust. Friend, now I have to think about it. Was it a friend? Was it just an acquaintance? A co-worker? I don't know, but let's put them all. I mean, we all know the definition of friend. I've talked about it on the show before. If you look up the definition, if you just like have a fondness for somebody, they're supposedly a friend. I haven't looked up every definition in every dictionary in every part of the world, but I'll just accept that. Okay, if you meet somebody, that's your friend. Good. That's very simple. From somebody who grew up watching Davey and Goliath and all these other shows, Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street, I will accept that as the global, universal definition of friend. You meet somebody or whatever, you have a fondness for somebody. I guess you have had to have met them. You can't just have a fondness for somebody if they don't know you, right? It should be mutual. And I always like to think my relationships are mutual. But I guess in this particular case, it wasn't, because this person had enough of me. And I'm going to read you some stuff and share with you how it all went down. And why would I do that? Dave, nobody really cares. Well, we all have relationships. Most of us, maybe, most of you guys have relationships that do well. I seem to have relationships that ultimately fail, especially with the men. Which I've said before, men are morons. Men are really, and I say that in the nicest way possible, they are not really often emotionally equipped because their fathers weren't emotionally equipped, and we have to be macho. We can't have therapy. We can't discuss our feelings. Everything has to be whatever. It has to be so machismo, and you just can't yield as a man, right? You're not allowed to yield. You can't show any weakness. You can't be at all submissive. You know, I mean, ultimately, I guess some guys are like, well, I'll be submissive to God, but I won't be submissive to anybody else. I don't know. I'm not religious. I don't know. I don't even want to get into that whole world. But I think this whole COVID thing is exacerbating everything. I think this whole Black Lives Matter, racism, Bubba Wallace, Chauvin, the murderer. I've always referred to him as the murderer. I think everything is exacerbated now. Everything is exaggerated. Everything is magnified. Everything is overly intense. So I'm going to try to do the show a little bit underly intense, because I normally find myself yelling and shouting. And then when I listen to this later, I go, ooh, did I overmodulate? Because I know I have a tendency to get loud. So I'm going to try to not be loud. I'm going to try. just getting on the road here, leaving the house on my way to work. It's Friday. It's July 3rd, the day before Independence Day. Happy Independence Day to everybody in the United States of America, or happy 4th of July. I wanted to do a show where I would say, well, what is the proper way of calling it? The 4th of July or Independence Day? And I used to think, geez, if you call it the 4th of July, happy 4th of July, like, well, do you realize it's Independence Day? It's not, I realize it's the 4th of July, like Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, I know, it's the 5th of May. But, it's really Independence Day. I mean, the day we celebrate, I guess, the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I don't even want to say that because I really don't even know fully 100% what we're celebrating on the 4th of July. I'm not being sarcastic or cynical. I'm just saying I don't really know because I haven't looked it up. I'm not a historian. I'm not expected to be a historian. So we're going to get to I'm going to bury the lead a little bit, all right, about Another Friend Bites the Dust. I'm going to get to that. But I have to finish up the previous episode, which was Bubba Wallace. It's a noose, ! Not a hoax. Episode 235. Been getting a lot of pushback. Got some pushback on the whole thing. And I see my comments, the comments section has really dwindled. People are not really agreeing with me, or they don't know what to say because they're afraid to say it. There's a whole bunch of things that could be going on. I don't know what's going on. I know I have no fear, for the most part, about my comments about anything, because I know, again, as recite with me, because I know you know what I'm going to say. I don't lean left. I don't lean right. I walk forward towards the truth. There is somewhere out there in this world a definitive truth about so many things, including racism, about love, about growing a tomato plant, whatever it is. There are definitive truths. And all I want to do is to get to that definitive truth. I try not to pass judgment. I try not to be cynical. I used to be, back in the day, I used to be very cynical. Very, very cynical. I am much less cynical now. I'm also much less sarcastic. And contrary to a lot of opinion that people hold of me, I am not a comedian performing today, and even when I am not always on. I'm not on. There are guys that they're always on, always doing shtick. I'm not on. I'm not trying to be funny. And of course, the definitive comment to that is, Dave, you're being very successful at not being funny. But I'm not trying. This has never been labeled as a comedy show. It's not, although I do have that in a hashtag, because there are moments of comedy. So keep that in mind. I am much, 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 much less cynical than I've ever been in my life. I hope that comes across. I am much, 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 much less sarcastic than I've ever been in my life. I hope that comes across. And I totally am just looking forward to the truth. What's difficult about my existence on this planet is that when you're pragmatic, and I'm coming from the center. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was talking about President Trump, and he was complaining about him, but he said, Dave, understand this, I'm complaining from the right. And I went, what? I've never heard that sentence before. What does that mean, you're complaining from the right? He goes, I'm complaining about him on the right side. In other words, I'm not coming from the left, from their point of view, their perspectives, their political whatever, and attacking Trump from the left. I'm on his side, and I'm attacking him from his side because I want him to do this and that instead of this and that. I went, oh. I didn't even know that was a thing, which often happens. And a lot of people, by the way, one person specifically who we're going to talk to, the friend that I apparently have lost, friend / acquaintance / co-worker. Well, he's still a co-worker, but now I guess he's not even acquaintances because he doesn't return my phone calls or my texts, and he said some really horrible things about me, which is really horrible. But there's some people that have a belief that I know things, or I'm smart, or like they don't believe I have comprehension issues, or they don't believe I have memory issues. And I don't know what to tell you. I can't prove to you. How do I take a test and prove to you how little I know? How do I prove to you how bad my memory is? How do I prove to anybody anything in the negative? I don't know how to do that. I mean, my whole scholastic career was proof that I don't know anything and I can't learn anything, and I don't remember. It's like, because I've just been constantly a lower D, lower C student. While I was cleaning my garage, which you can monitor that progress in Dumbing It Down with Dave, Dave's Fit Life on YouTube. I'm totally getting into the garage and into the attic. It's really been quite a journey, my Dave's Fit Life page. So, how do I prove to you that I don't know what I'm talking about? How I don't comprehend the news? I don't understand. But this particular guy was like, he was that. He goes, no, you just play like I'm playing possum or something. I'm telling you, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know how else to. That's why I don't have a very specific agenda. Like, this show is not going to be 100% Black Lives Matter. This show is not going to be 100% Second Amendment. Is that the one with the guns? I don't know. And, if you're listening to the show, you know that I'm always saying, I don't know. And I say whatever, because I don't know, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I say whatever. A lot of times I'm saying whatever for myself. I'm like, I don't know, whatever. Move on. I can't talk about it. It's kind of like a cue to myself, Dave, don't go down this rabbit hole. Nobody wants to hear you go hemming and hawing what you don't know about. So, but this particular person seems to feel like, no, Dave, you're faking it. You do know. And he got angry at me. And he said some very unkind words to me. So I'm going to bury that lead for a second. I got to finish up the episode prior to this, which, about Bubba Wallace. It's a noose. It's not a hoax. At the end of the show, I mentioned, during the beginning of the show, I mentioned, stay tuned to the end. Maybe it's not a noose. I was doing a little bit of clickbaiting there. Just a little bit, and there's nothing severe. It turns out, because I did some research, which, by the way, I don't really enjoy doing on this particular topic, because it's not fun. It wasn't fun for me. I enjoy certain research, but this particular research, which was just not enjoyable. I can't explain it to you. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's like, oh, where are we going with this? I want to learn. In this particular case, I really was like, I really don't want to do this. But so apparently there's a thing called the Uni-knot. The letter U, the letter N, the letter I, hyphen knot. So I did some research, and it looks exactly like a noose. It's smaller, and it's made out of different material. Apparently a noose, like you would only make a noose out of rope. Like rope. There's rope. And then the Uni-knot looks like a noose, but I guess you would make it out of nylon or some other material other than the rope. By the way, I'm not an expert on roping, but what was the website? I think it was like animatedrope.com or something like that. That's what I found. It's really a great site. If you want to learn how to make knots, they have animation, and I guess they have steps on how to create these knots. And when I was in the Navy, when I was a nautical man or whatever, seaman recruit, seaman apprentice, or whatever, third class petty officer in the Navy, the United States Navy, 1983 to 1986. I guess that was part of my curriculum. Like I was supposed to learn these knots, especially if you're a boatswain mate. I don't even know how to pronounce it anymore. It's been so long. So I looked at it. Oh, look at that Uni-knot. And it looks exactly like a noose. Like, whoa. So is it possible that the garage pull that was found in the Bubba Wallace garage before it was even assigned to Bubba Wallace, that's been made clear. That thing had been up there for a year before. October or whatever, 2019. Oh, is it a year? A little bit less than a year. All right, it doesn't matter. And I don't have the research team. I don't have the time to go through the particulars of that event, who was in that garage, and so I don't have time to make phone calls. I'm just trusting what I read in the news. And by the way, the FBI, trust them as much as you want to trust them. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about the FBI. I'm not a pro or anti-FBI guy. I remember we used to watching, what was it, Efren Zimbalist Jr., I think, did a show called FBI. And you like to think, by the way, don't you like to think that everybody's the good guys? Right? FBI, CIA, Secret Service. Don't you like to think that they're all the good guys? Which I think is the problem with politics, is that you like to think that everybody's the good guys. And then, you get a little blinded and go, wait a minute, oh, my guy's not that good, maybe. Or maybe the other side's not as good, whatever. So I trust the FBI, and they said that it was definitely a noose, but not a hate crime, and it was there a year ago, before anything with Bubba Wallace was connected to it. Okay, so what a coincidence. But people are calling him, Smollett, whatever that guy's name, Jesse Hussey, Smollett, Wallace, and then the whole race card driver, and the memes were posted on the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group, which, by the way, I appreciate their participation, in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group, but, I don't like memes. I hate memes. I didn't delete them. I don't delete anything. This person I'm about to talk to deleted some stuff, apparently. I don't know why, out of embarrassment, out of shame, out of covering up the evidence. I have no idea. Why not just delete the whole entire post? What do I know? I don't understand anybody's behavior and or lack thereof or whatever. So I looked into it. I said, stay tuned to the end of the show. And then the end of the show came, and I think I did mention Uni-knot, but then I got distracted with something because I think I had 2 or 3 minutes left, and I think I just got lost. I was tired, of course, always tired, and I got lost, and I ended up blah, 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 and then the show was over, and then I listened to it, and I go, oh, I didn't really get into the whole Uni-knot thing. So, turns out a Uni-knot is used by fishermen. It's made of nylon, or a different material, not rope. If you're using rope, it's a noose. So I think that is somewhat of the distinction. Again, I'm not an expert. Go to animatedknots.com, which doesn't endorse me, and it's not a paid sponsor. And then I actually spoke to 3 fishermen. One who's an expert fisherman, his business, that's his business, fishing, being a fisherman, boating, all of that stuff. And I spoke to a friend of mine from high school who said to me she swore she knew a lot of stuff about fishing. So I said, oh, you're not really an expert, but okay, whatever. Anyway, she said she's an expert, and she spoke to me. Well, we texted. She didn't talk on the phone. The first fisherman, yes. And I'm not naming names. And then the third person I spoke to is the person who's actually no longer my friend, I guess. And they all basically, I think they said the same thing. A Uni-knot looks exactly like a noose. I think a noose might have one more something in it, one more turn that makes it, the effective thing that they used. That's why they used it for hanging, for lynching, because of this one extra turn or whatever, and it didn't give, and whatever. I hate to talk about the whole thing, but you can use it as a fisherman to attach a hook or something, or some sort of thing that you attach to something else, and it's also, again, equally effective, and it doesn't let go. The fisherman told me that for years he would just make nooses, but he has no intent. He says the problem with the nooses is that it's the thought of the intent of what the noose is used for. And I agree with that. Intent. A couple of things I want to talk about in future shows. Intent and perspective. The rope itself is like a gun. It's animated. It's not alive. It takes a person to use the noose. It takes a person to use a gun. Sometimes guns are used for fun and target practice or whatever, all that stuff. Sometimes they're used for hunting, and sometimes hunting is very useful, especially if you're eating the meat and staying alive and you're not doing it for just sport. But I don't want to get into the whole... I have no agenda on any of that. I really don't. Gun away. Gun away and make knots. Go crazy. But yes, over the course of time, and especially there's been people had personal experiences. It's in the history books. There's no doubt about it. About hanging, lynching. I don't know if there's a difference between hanging and lynching. My apologies for not looking it up. But there is, I guess, maybe there's a difference, maybe not. So, all right, I'm just trying to be clear here. So anyway, let's just move on. So it's intent and it's perspective. I don't disagree with people saying, no, there's no reason to make a noose unless you're going to do this. Well, this particular person said to me, Dave, I got to tell you, it's fun making them. And I would just make them. I don't know if he would make them and then undo them, but he actually told me, Dave, I have blinds. And by the way, I also take into account that this guy might just be messing with me. And if he's listening, I'm not trying to insult him. I'm not mentioning his name. He won't get involved with the show as far as commenting. He just sent me a personal message, and he liked one of my rants from the previous show that I did. He thought it was funny. But he's not publicizing his affection for the show. It's fine. I don't care. Whatever. I have so many people that just are afraid to comment on the show for whatever reason. They're afraid of the Trump stuff, or they're afraid of whatever, or just because of the times that we're in, they don't want to attach themselves with a show that has Bubba Wallace. It's a noose. It's not a hoax title. I get it. Nobody wants to be involved in the thread. I get it. Whatever. But my show, I like to think is a safe show. But I'm sure one day it won't be a safe show, and then that'll be the end of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Which, by the way, I think that end is coming. I'm just putting it out there. I think the end is coming. So anyway, somewhere in 2020, I think. I'm not really sure. I'm putting it out there. Whatever. I didn't mean to get distracted, but I just can't help but be truthful. So let's move on because I know we're running out of time. So I'm just saying that the uni-knot looks the same as a noose, but it's not a noose. Different material, and if you look at the uni-knot, you can see the similarities, but you're using it for different things, and whatever. I'm just saying it might not have been a noose, even though it was made in rope and not. And by the way, I've seen different pictures of it. Apparently, like if you take, of course you know this, if you take a picture up close, the noose looks large, like you could stick a head in there. It's possible that particular noose used as a garage pull was small. No, I don't see anybody sticking their hand in the picture. Nowhere, I didn't see any measurements. So does that make a difference? If the measurement of the noose that is hanging in the picture in the garage that NASCAR has provided, if that thing could barely fit a hand, or whatever, not barely, but and not a head, does it change anything? That it wasn't intended for Bubba Wallace, and in fact, it was just big enough to hold as a head. And as a New York City subway person back in the day, we had what they called the strap hangers, and they were straps hanging from the overhead. It used to be like flexible straps, and then I think they made them a little bit more solid. They didn't look like nooses, but I think that's what this particular person was going for. Whoever made that, as a simple garage pull, it might have just enjoyed making nooses like this fisherman guy did. Whether or not he's pulling, bad pun or whatever it is, bad reference, but, pulling my leg, with this garage pull comedy thing that he might have been doing, that maybe he never makes nooses, but he was saying, Dave, it's all intent, and if it was intended to open and close the garage door, then that's the end of that. And then I said, you know what, but if it was hanging in all of October 2019, for the whole weekend at Talladega, nobody said anything? People are walking by, nobody? I mean, Bubba Wallace was racing that, and I think that car had his friend. Whoever had that garage, I think he had a good friend in that, the race car driver. I don't know. I'm not making accusations. And also, I guess the possibility came out that maybe we weren't as heightened in our awareness back in October. So that's it. So it took me 27 minutes, but I wanted to address what I didn't finish in the previous episode. That, yes, it was a noose. No, it wasn't a hoax. I don't think he's a race card driver. I don't think so at all. It was NASCAR that brought the information to him. He had not even seen it. So he's responding to an overly emotional president of NASCAR, Steve Phelps. And then, things just, how things are. You just put things into motion. They get out of hand. Next thing you know, the FBI is involved, the press is involved, and then the haters come, and I would like to create a hashtag where listening matters. How about that? I did get loud, and I'm sorry about that. How about the new hashtag listening matters? How about a hashtag empathy matters? How about the hashtag patience matters? I want to suggest that. I don't know if I'll put that into print because I'll probably get beat up. And I that's one of the reasons why I think I'm done with the show. Is it's I don't know. I want to have a real conversation, but I think it's very hard to do that now. Maybe even near impossible. Apparently, after 235 episodes, I have not ignited the world with pragmatism. Granted, not all of my shows have been about pragmatism, so I'm a little bit late to the whole deal. I don't know how many episodes now it's been. Has it been 100? I don't even know how many I've done that I've really kind of narrowed that down, that this show would be about it. Anyway, I'm not threatening anything. I'm just saying I'm considering it because I'm a little exhausted with the whole thing. And I noticed that my body is going in a particular direction, and my mind and my soul and everything in life is just going in a particular direction I don't care for. So I'm not really sure about the future of the show. That's all I'm saying. So I buried the lead really good about the friend of mine who's no longer my friend. So I don't know if it's a good idea for me to start on that. So let's just go to statues. So my apologies for burying the lead and then not even getting to it. But we'll get into it in the next episode, which I could easily do tomorrow on my way home. So there'll be too much Dumbing It Down with Dave podcast. Maybe I'll record it on my way home tomorrow, and then I won't publish it until like Sunday or Monday. I don't really know. But I want you all to have a happy 4th of July anyway. And enjoy your fireworks. Be safe with the COVID. Show has 5 minutes to go. Don't go anywhere. So let's just talk about these statues. All right? Because somebody asked me this morning if I was doing podcasts. He doesn't listen to the podcast. And he was asking me about, by the way, I realize that's bad podcasting, that you talk about it at the beginning of the show and then you don't get to it. But that's the freedom I get to enjoy. And if I had an hour, like another half hour, I would do it. I'd go to commercial break, come back, and do another half hour and talk about this friend that's no longer my friend. But that's not the way it is. I went long on the news thing. I want to make myself clear. I don't really get a chance. A lot of people hear things that I say, and then they go crazy with it. I'm like, well, so let me explain, or let me over-explain. This way you perfectly understand my position. Oh, by the way, my position is on the noose, that, is a noose and it wasn't a hoax, is that I don't know why this guy created a noose instead of just a simple knot. I don't know why. Why does anybody do anything? How many times have we all done this in life? We go, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I went too far. Well, I didn't go far enough. Well, why did I get involved at all? So, it's just a simple why. No, but Dave, this guy made a news because of, listen, no. He probably made a news to impress the rest of the crew. Or maybe it was kind of funny, haha. By the way, white people do funny haha about a lot of things. Black people do funny haha about a lot of things too. And sometimes it's about the opposite race. I know it's true. It's fine. It's human behavior. It's what we don't know. Haha, look at that. Watermelon. Haha, look at that chicken. Haha, look at that. He has a pony. Haha, look at that. He's whatever. He's got sunburn. Whatever. It's like I have been fortunate enough to be involved in so many different groups of so many different perspectives that it's so funny that people are willing to share with me so many things, and sometimes they assume like I'm in the same group they are. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, Dave's white, so he's racist. I'm going to go show him this racist meme. Oh, Dave, he's white, so he's racist. I'm going to go make a joke about black people. Or black people will say something, oh, Dave's cool, so I'm going to share with him something. And I go, okay. I mean, I know what's going on. And I've watched enough television, enough movies, and read books. We're all human. It's just natural to sort of make jokes about whatever. And that's comedy, especially if it's based in truth. Comedy that isn't based in truth isn't funny. And it's easy to recognize when it's not funny. So I'm just saying, I don't approve of everything and I don't disapprove of everything. I get it. You want to try and attempt at humor, But I'm sure Asian people, they're funny. I just saw a whole bunch of, I forgot how many Asian movies I saw recently. Crazy Rich Asian and some other movie that I can't remember the title. But the perspective, the inside, the director, the filmmaker, the writer of that movie brought us into the Asian culture. And it's funny how they make fun of themselves. Oh, I'm an American Asian. I'm a Chinese Asian. And then when it comes to black people, oh, you're lighter colored. You're darker colored. Oh, you're Jamaican black. You're Haitian black. And then if you're American, oh, you're a redneck. Or you're a cornhusker. You're whatever. You're a Sooner. You're a Suki. Whatever. You're a Northerner. You're a Southerner. You're a Westerner. You're a left coast. You're a right coast. And then rap. Remember rap? They did that. East Coast, West Coast. Yay. We all, not all, whatever, most of us, 99.9% of us, we observe the difference. We do profile, we do notice, and we make fun, or we make note of, or whatever. Listen, I'm not out to change the world. I'm not out to change human behavior. I'm just sharing with you my middle-of-the-road perspective, how people seem to have no problem sharing with me. And then I go, oh, okay, that's interesting that you did that. And now I know that this person and possibly this person's group, not that any person represents a group, but you kind of sort of, yeah, I get it. That's probably where you're coming from, and that's where the people you hang with or whatever. Anyway, so that was a pretty long explanation, but I think that's pretty true. I like to think it's based in truth. I don't think that leaned left, and I don't think that leaned right. I think that was right down the middle. I think I dumbed it down pretty good for you. And I realize I'm shouting again. I can't help it. I get excited. But, and I just mentioned I was going to talk about statues. So there's two things I can leave for the next episode. I'll talk about my friend who's no longer my friend. I guess, I don't know, maybe by the time I do the next episode, he'll come around. I've been reaching out to him. I have been texting him, saying, hey man, what's up? Are you really serious? Did you really break up with me? At the age of 56 of me, and I don't know how old he is, I think he's older than I am. Really, did you really break up with me via text? And when I read you the things you wrote, you'll probably laugh. You go, wow, that's kind of childish. And I said, yeah, I know. It's, you know what? It's so funny. Here it is at 56. I still can't maintain good male relationships. And I think that's the problem when you come from the middle, is that you just see both sides. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I dumbed it down the best I could. And I want to thank Hal in Philly. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Godspeed, and great skills. Take care. Bye.